Hello, traders. Cousin Benny coming to you from theclosingprint.com, Sunday, July 14th, 2024. In this video, we'll cover the markets rallying to new all-time highs and then fading on Friday, but still above a dominating level of support just below. IWM was a standout this week, rising 6%, with all 9 small cap sectors closing green and above its 10 EMA on the weekly time frame. For now, we have 17 bullish indicators, 2 neutral and 1 bearish going into this week, with the call wall firmly at 5,600. If we plot out the S&P futures, we can see clearly that we're above the volatility trigger at 5560 for the cash level, a level of padding or support going into this week. S&P 500 major resistance overhead between 5600 and 5700, with the index closing at 5615. So long as we stay above 5560, we'll lean bullish. Below 5560, we would start to get more cautious. With a nice rally to all-time highs, we did fade on the last hour as profit taking came in, and the markets closed at 5615. The Qs, of course, closed lower on Thursday, managed a little bounce on Friday, and its volatility trigger a bit closer to current price action at 493, so we want to stay above 493. If not, we should see a test of the 20 EMA on the daily. That's that red dotted line, presently at 485.90. IWM and all the small cap sectors rose last week, staying above their 10 EMA weekly, as we can see on this weekly chart of the index, closing at highs 213.14. With the daily showing a shooting star, we'll look for a base above 210. As volume suggests, institutions were buying, MACD and stochastics are rising. Finally, we're seeing breadth improving across all indices, S&P 500, mid caps, small caps, and NASDAQ in descending order, respectively. With the S&P 500 breaking out of that symmetrical triangle, following through, the 200-day rising, 921.50, 200-day all up and to the right. Number of stocks above the 20-day surging, getting into the red zone now. Number of stocks above the 50-day in the lower panel also supportive of a continuation. The 10-year yield is fading. That's supportive of equities moving higher, with bonds respectively moving higher back above its 10 EMA weekly. Look for TLT, IEF, all bond durations moving higher this week. If you're bullish equities, this looks pretty good. In addition, junk bonds gave us a really bullish signal last week, gapping up on Thursday, following through on Friday. IWM, IBB, red and green lines respectively, rising. Bitcoin turning upward, and more importantly, breadth, New York Stock Exchange advanced decline is rising above its 10 MA in this chart. That's bullish for equities. US dollar moved lower against other currencies as we moved down to new lows for the week. As a result, the British pound US dollar pair broke out to new highs, with the weakness in the US dollar reflecting on the US dollar Japanese yen pair, with the dollar moving lower, respectively. Bullish for equities at the moment. And with the US dollar lower, you would expect to see gold and silver higher. Gold outperformed. That continues to push up against recent highs. This could get a follow through depending on the Trump situation, as investors might think to protect portfolios. Hard to say. We'll have to see how Sunday night futures open up. Copper making a higher low on Friday, looking for a higher high. That would be bullish for equities and an economic indicator in its own right. Brent crude and West Texas crude both faded last week, Looking for gasoline as well, which moved lower to continue this move to the downside. That would be bullish for equities. All sectors finished higher last week, all above the 20 and 50-day moving averages, the blue and red lines respectively, with the exception of energy, which is attempting to get above the 50-day. Stochastics turning, so we should see that sector add on to the current rally, along with a bullish crossover in the XLY-XLP ratio. This is bullish. When this is rising, that's telling you that institutions aren't concerned about downside risk at this point. And if you were trading small caps or considering it this week, all of the small cap sectors have moved higher, with the 10 EMA on all 9 sectors up and to the right, price above to finish the week. Bullish for small caps as the index builds a base, as we previously mentioned. The IBD 50 had a good week, with these stocks potentially looking for a follow-through this week. Some standouts that we're watching as well, noted with asterisks. Also ran a scan of stocks that showed oversold stochastics. I note that Ep0714 is on it, Domino's Pizza, Ginkgo Shipping, Tech Resources, and Toast, something that Josh Brown has been watching. And here are those stocks listed by performance. To end the week on Friday, as the markets moved lower in the last hour, these stocks all moved higher. You might want to take a screenshot of this. With Appfolio moving higher, Stochastics embedded, Aspen Aerogels moving above its 9, 20, and 50-day moving averages, Stochastics rising. That looks pretty bullish. ARM Holdings looked like it could follow through as well. Volume on Friday, note the relative strength. Brown and Brown breaking out to new highs. Looks like that might follow through. Stochastics rising, volume increasing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Carlyle Group looking for a follow through. A little shooting star on Friday. Keep an eye on that one. CrowdStrike, we're still watching that one. No position at present. Hut Mining bouncing off the 21-day moving average. Looking good. Looking for a follow through this week. Volume was pretty decent on Friday. Look for Hut to continue. RSI rising. KKR Asset Managers at highs. Bollinger Bands tightening up. Looking for Stochastics and MACD along with RSI to continue with the trend. Looking for a breakout above 113 this week. Unless the stock bounces around inside the Bollinger Bands, keep an eye out for a breakout nonetheless. Palantir on the IBD 50 this week. Note the cup and handle pattern breaking out. It's a continuation. Take the depth of the cup. It's about $7 on top of this, so 34 would be a near-term target, or 20% above this 2750 area. RSI rising and strong, with the company recently reporting a miss. Earnings are growing, as well as revenue. Surprise was 3.2% on revenue, but it missed expectations, but beat on the low estimate of 7 cents. Palantir, of course, is a software company that builds enterprise data platforms for use by organizations with complex and sensitive data environments. Read AI into that, and you can see how it continues to be bought, rising to new highs. Other stocks in the travel and leisure sector standouts like Royal Caribbean continue to make new highs with its bookings very strong, and reporting on July 25th. The company beat expectations last time around. Really nice numbers. I like when all 4 of these are green. Earnings growth 869%, revenue growth 29%. This looks good for Royal Caribbean. Trend continuation into earnings at the end of the month. Samsara also showing up on the list. Looks pretty good. It based, last week we had this on the watch list. It came back down to the 50-day. 9 EMAs crossing back up now. Look for a follow through this week. Relatively inexpensive clouds-related business company. All 4 green again, 160% earnings growth. The weekly trend Continuation above the 10 EMA for the last 3 weeks. Looking for the follow through and a retest of highs. Volume suggests institutions have been buying shares. Look for rate of change to turn up and momentum indicators pointing to continuation. As more stocks move back above their 20 and 50-day moving averages, we're looking for stocks like Tech Resources to continue. This is from the oversold stochastic scan. Turning back up, MACD rising, volume increasing on Wednesday and Friday. Look for a follow through in Tech Resources, along with these stocks that are listed below for the week ahead. Okay, traders, that's going to do it for me. This is because of any coming to you from theclosingprint.com, Sunday, July 14th, 2024. I'll send out a watch list later tonight around 12 midnight on the East Coast, around 9 o'clock on the West Coast, so be sure to check your inbox for that. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Make sure you check out Sunday Futures tonight after the attempted assassination attempt on the former president over the weekend. Futures are likely to be jittery. Have a great weekend. Take care. We'll see you in the morning.